Gavin Newsom has decided, hey, slow down, Texas. You may have the right to redistrict, but I don't care that I don't have the right. I don't have the law. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it by holding a special election because I want to be able to redistrict too.
They're criticizing Texas for following the way their law is set up, that their state legislature decides how the congressional maps are drawn. And as a news item as well, the Texas House last night actually was able to get to a quorum because dozens of those Democrats that fled the state came back to Austin. So it looks like they will be moving forward with their plan. But what Gavin Newsom is doing here isn't doing what Texas is doing. They're not using their normal process to try and change their congressional maps. He's trying to go outside of what their state law has on the books that the people of his state voted for. And according to a recent poll from Politico, 64% of the state wants the power to remain in the hands of that independent commission.
Vast majority.
But what he's doing now is he's taking what is supposed to be independent bipartisan in his state for 15 years that his state voted on, and taking it and making it purely political. We know that around 40% of Californians vote Republican. So when you look at that, but you realize how few representatives are from that state, he's taking an already politicized map and trying to make it more political by redrawing the lines to combat Texas. And what has to happen here is they have to approve legislative language by Friday. So they have to get it voted out so that they can then start notifying and plan for this special election by November 4th is his plan. They already have some municipal elections there. But in order for that to happen, it has to be redrawn by the end of the year because candidates for the midterm cycles start declaring candidacy and all those things early next year. So really, they're on a time crunch. This is kind of a dice roll. If he loses this ability and then the people of the state don't vote for this redistricting, there's some egg on his face sort of, look, I took on Trump and the Republicans. But it just reeks of political gamesmanship when he is saying we are trying to protect democracy against someone who is elected to the presidency and to members of Congress and members of a state legislature by saying we're going to change our law real fast and try to do something that 64% of the state probably doesn't want, only to play games with our House of Representatives in the United States. It's disgusting, and they're about to spend about $250 million of Californian taxpayer money in order to get this special election done. Meanwhile, the state has a $55 billion deficit last year. Does anyone actually want to see this done?
He's another guy who's just attention hungry, especially when he is eyeing a presidential run. We know this. It's very clear. It's very obvious. It's been obvious for years. This is a guy who has eyes set beyond the governor of California, and his eyes are set at the presidency. He doesn't care if it breaks any laws or if it changes anything or that he can go in and do it. It's about getting attention, getting press, getting news. And look, I got to give it to him. We're giving it to him right now. So maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. But you also don't want to get blindsided if you're one of our California supporters who don't know this is happening, and then all of a sudden what you voted into law just 15 years ago gets upended because you have a governor who has decided to take matters into his own hands because of his own endeavors, his own plans to seek the White House in just a few years.
The cynicism that the Democrats have poured into our political system, which was already pretty rough as it was, but that, hey, what they're doing is trying to take our democracy, take away people's representation. So what are we going to do? We're going to do it, but do it worse. I mean, just the reality of that is so shocking that Gavin Newsom is willing to rush forward a constitutional amendment or a ballot proposition, Proposition 50, which he's saying represents all 50 states because this is a national issue. It's just shocking that they're willing to go that far over something, and they're even calling it the Election Rigging Response Act. Is the legislative package they're putting forward, wanting to say that it's President Trump that is and the Republicans in Texas that are rigging elections. So what are we going to do? We're going to force something through real quick so we can redraw our maps and make them even more unfair than they already are. And we're going to put that forward as if this is democracy. They're taking the bait in some way of showing it. But this also goes back to, Logan, I mean, there was this New York Times article, opinion piece that came out just a few days ago. And it shows what really the left is at the heart of, because the mouthpiece for the left, the New York Times, decided to put up this long interview and article accompanying opinion piece that says, abolish the Senate, in the Electoral College, pack the court, why the left can't win without a new constitution. It shows they're saying that President Trump is putting us into a constitutional crisis. No, everything they're doing is trying to get rid of that very constitution they're saying he's putting in crisis. They don't believe in it. We used to have a system where the two parties at least had different opinions on what the Constitution said, but still believed in it being our foundational document. The Democrat Party and the left is so far removed from that now, they don't even believe in our foundational document and want to get rid of it. And I think the New York Times being willing to put this out there and saying, oh, we're going to listen to all voices. No, they don't. They amplify the voices they want to be heard. And this is a scary amplification.
They also know it's going to get clicks. They know people like you are going to read it and go, oh, what are they doing? Oh, the leftist. And you click on it and you get angry. So remember, they're all doing it for the clicks, because that's the only way they make money is advertising revenue. That doesn't, and they barely make money to begin with that. So what are you going to do? Say, abolish the Constitution. Get rid of the Electoral College. Okay, that's not that controversial. People talk about that every election season. So get rid of the Electoral College. We got to get rid of the Constitution. We got to, what else was in there?
And abolish the Senate.
Oh, the Senate. Senate's got to go away. As if the Senate isn't razor thin conservative. I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Well, the problem is that it's too close, and because of the filibuster rule, you have to get 2/3 majority. It's much easier for them to redraw their districts and get a lot more Democrats in the House of Representatives, and then have a essentially mob rule in the country.
I hope you've liked this hot map talk we've had.
Now, California's only justification for this that they're saying, and they're having to jump through a lot of hoops to get there, is not because of population. They're just saying we're doing it because we're mad at Texas for doing it. So, I mean, you know, the old two wrongs don't make a right. If they truly believe that this is wrong what Texas is doing, then having to jump through all these very extra special hurdles to get to another wrong should not right that. And I think that shows how disingenuous they are about the whole thing. In reality, Gavin Newsom sees a way to spend his state's money, $250 million plus of it, to do this wild theory to try and take on the Republicans, trying to own Trump. He's even, if you look at his X account, he's trying to mock Trump, doing bold letters, all caps, saying, thank you for your attention to this matter, thinking it's making him like a superhero. But in reality, everyone knows the left can't meme, and he's failing at this as well.